What's up, Eagles fans? Welcome into the All-22 review driven by AAA. I'm your host, Fran Duffy. Eagles fall wild card weekend to the Seattle Seahawks, 17-9. Tough game, obviously, on both sides. Losing Carson Wentz in the first half in the third series of the game. Tough to recover for the Eagles offense. The Eagles defense, while they held strong for a number of different times in this game, they gave up too many big plays, were not consistent on third down. Seattle converting over 50% of the time on the most important down in football. They go 1 for 2 in the red zone. Situational football, huge in this matchup in the Seahawks' favor. But we're going to start things off. We're going to look at the defensive side where number 91, Fletcher Cox, he was unblockable for a large majority of this game. And we're going to see here, they nearly come up with a huge play on the second play of the game. Here's number 91, Fletcher Cox, lined up in the B gap between the right guard and the right tackle. He's going to explode upfield with a quick first step and beat the block from the right tackle, Germain Ifedi. He's going to eventually get to the running back here, Travis Homer. But the guy who helps set him up is his counterpart here on the other side, Tim Jernigan, who's going to be really stout on contact, and we'll let this play run, and you're going to see him take on the double team right there. So he gives up no ground. He does not give up any space here on the double team. That causes Travis Homer, the rookie, to kind of chatter his feet just a little bit. Now, you can see here, Fletcher Cox, he's already well on his way to defeating that block from the right tackle of Ifedi. That explosive first step brought him into the backfield. Now, he's going to take this, put his foot in the ground, and explode to the ball carrier, let this play run. You're going to see Fletcher Cox get the ball on the ground here. Unfortunately, bad bounce, lands right and back into the hands of Travis Homer. Doesn't erase the fact that Fletcher Cox dominated there on that play. Really kind of a sign of things to come for number 91. Let's fast forward now to a little bit later. The next drive, in fact, it's 3rd and long in the red zone. And the Eagles defense comes up with a stop. And at the forefront of that stop, number 91, Fletcher Cox. But this starts really with a really good scheme from Jim Schwartz. And it's something that they did back in Week 12 against this Seahawks team to create one-on-one matchups. We actually covered it this week on Eagles Game Plan. And when you look across the front here, it's a 5-man front. 5 defenders across from 5 offensive linemen. It's what a lot of people around the league call a diamond front. And the key here is Nigel Bradham, who is lined up across from the left guard. And his presence there, they have to respect that. So the guard has to block Nigel Bradham. So you've got your 4 down linemen and the linebacker up front. That's who the offensive linemen have to account for, which means you've got 5-on-5, 5 one-on-ones. And when you have a player like number 91, Fletcher Cox, against a backup center who looks, he's a little bit undersized, doesn't have the strength, doesn't have the sand in his pants to be able to hold up against a big, powerful man like Fletcher, this is what's going to happen. And we're going to let this run, and you're going to see exactly what happens here as he's getting ready to club Joey Hunt to the ground and explode into the backfield. You've got a matchup that the Seahawks are trying to leverage here. Tyler Lockett running a deep crossing route against a safety. On a chalkboard, you like that if you're the Seahawks, but they don't account for Fletcher Cox winning this one-on-one. We can let this run. You can see the club move here. Wins on the inside. He bench presses Hunt to the ground, forces an early throw from Russell Wilson, who throws it through the back of the end zone. Eagles get off the field, force a big play on 4th down. All right, let's take a look at a big play from the first half. A field goal block by Vinny Curry to keep the Seahawks off the board and keep this a 0-0 game. Really big play for the Eagles defense in the first half with that game flow. So you're going to look here. Here's the right tackle for Seattle. That's Germain Ifedi. Across from him are Vinny Curry and Derek Barnett. Now, those 2 guys are going to explode upfield, attacking the respective shoulders of Ifedi. Barnett is going to attack the right side. Vinny Curry is going to attack the left side. And I want you to see on contact what happens here, because Brandon Graham, he's going to loop around. The right guard, he kind of just falls forward because he's not touching BG or Vinny Curry on this play, so he's not going to be any help. He ends up on the ground. That opens up a nice little crease in the B gap there for Vinny Curry to explode upfield. Let's let this run and see what those guys do on contact. Those are the 2 I want you to watch. Again, Derek Barnett attacking the outside shoulder, Vinny Curry attacking the inside shoulder. They get great movement. Let this run, and Vinny Curry is now able to get into the backfield. Look at the movement there on that side. Vinny Curry gets his hand up, puts his hand on the football. Eagles come away with a field goal block. Big play again in the first half. Eagles get a little bit of a spark early on special teams. So fast forward now to the first play of the second half. Now keep in mind, Carson Wentz at this point has been ruled out due to his concussion. So Josh McCown is going to be the quarterback for the rest of this game. They come out, it's 10-3, first play of the third quarter. Eagles get a nice drive going here, and it starts with this long completion to Zach Ertz across the field. Nice deep over route. And it was a great example of attacking the Seahawks in their coverage scheme, because what you've got here, everybody knows, if you're a football fan, you kind of follow the X's and O's, Seattle has been known to be a cover 3 team. So you've got a deep safety in the middle of the field, and you've got your other thirds of the field occupied by corners, right? So you got your safety here, you've got your 2 corners on either side. Now, what the Seahawks eventually started doing, and a lot of teams in the NFL do this, is to the boundary sides, to the short side of the field. The Eagles are on the right hash, so this is your short side of the field. This corner is not playing zone coverage. He's actually playing man-to-man. So everybody else is playing zone. You've got your free safety in the middle of the field. This guy at the top, he's playing zone coverage. Everybody else is playing zone. So you're going to have this guy running into the into an intermediate zone. This guy's going to run here into the hook. You've got another linebacker running into the hook. Here's your safety dropping into the curl flat. So you've got 3 deep defenders in theory with the man coverage defender here, and then you've got those 4 underneath. You'll notice there's one area that can be, in theory, unaccounted for, and that's this deep part of the field along the right side, to the side of the man coverage corner. The big thing that the Eagles have to do is they have to make sure that none of these defenders drop into this part. So you've got Bobby Wagner, you've got Bradley McDougald, you've got Shaq Griffin. None of these guys can get into this area, because that's where you're going to have Zach Ertz running across the field. So off play action, we're going to let this run. Josh McCown is going to take the snap here, and he's just going to drop back. And again, you've got man-to-man coverage. Here's your curl flat player. Here's your hook player in the middle of the field. Look where his eyes are. He's going to match up to Dallas Goedert running right at him, and he's going to sit down and get eyes on the quarterback. So the zone defender here, he's going to match that. He's doing his job. Here comes Zach Ertz. This middle hook defender is just going to let him go. He's not going to match up to him because he's playing zone coverage. So he's going to let him roll. Zach Ertz is going to run across the field into a void that nobody is residing in, because, again, man-to-man, zone coverage defender, he's got his eyes here. He doesn't know that Zach Ertz is coming. This defender's looking right here at Dallas Goedert. Perfectly designed play. Eagles get rolling. We can let this run. Josh McCown hits Zach Ertz wide open. It looks like it looks like a busted coverage, but in reality, it's just the Eagles doing a great job of understanding what the Seahawks were doing on first down, attacking that coverage. Zach Ertz goes over 30 yards. Eagles cross midfield. They get a field goal. Crucial play to get within 4 points here. Now 10-6 early in the third quarter. Keep this game very, very tight. All right, in the last play, we're going to break down a sack by Malcolm Jenkins. Remember, back in Week 12, Malcolm was such a big part of what the Eagles did in containing Russell Wilson, had 2 sacks and a 6-sack performance for the Eagles defense. And we saw a little bit of that here in the second half. Really kind of an exotic look here for the Eagles. And right before the snap, not right before, but a little bit before the snap, you're going to get 2 players right here in the A-gaps. That's Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. BG on the left, Fletcher Cox on the right on your screen. Those guys lined up right in the A-gaps. That sends alarm bells off for the defense right now, or for the offensive line right now. And typically what you're going to see when you've got these 2 guys right here, you've got Malcolm lined up close here into the B gap. You've got another defensive end out there in Derek Barnett. What the Seahawks appear to be doing here from a protection standpoint are sliding the protection this way. So you've got 4 versus 4. Left guard will block down on BG. You've got the center, Joey Hunt's going to block down on Fletcher Cox. Right guard, Fluker goes on Malcolm. Right tackle, Affetti goes on Barnett. And then you've got your one-on-one matchup here. And the running back will stay in just in case Nigel Bradham decides to come. That's what this looks like at this point in the process. But Malcolm Jenkins is going to toy with the offense a little bit. So we'll let this run here just for a second, because as the protection scheme gets set very late, he now shifts and he slides over to this side. So if they were to decide to keep going with this slide protection, nobody is going to account for Malcolm Jenkins. That's what helped lead to that sack fumble of Daniel Jones that was returned for a near touchdown a week ago in Week 17. Very similar kind of disguise from Malcolm Jenkins. So they kind of abort that protection a little bit. And what you'll see is that the left guard, he's now going to handle Malcolm Jenkins, and you're going to kind of see them squeeze this down a little bit. Everybody else, they're kind of making this up on the fly. But you can see when Malcolm moves over, that kind of changes the responsibilities with these 3 players in the middle of that offensive line. Let's let this run a little bit further, and we can see exactly what that does, because now you've got the running back who initially was going to look at Nigel Bradham. when Malcolm Jenkins moved over here, you saw that the running back stepped up as if he was going to potentially block Malcolm Jenkins, and that creates a little bit of confusion because he initially was responsible for Bradham, but now that he stepped up to handle Jenkins, he's late to come over and get Nigel Bradham. Bradham is looping around. The offensive linemen, they're not worried about him. He's going to impact Russell Wilson on this play. That allows Malcolm Jenkins enough time to be able to loop around and get home. Long way to get to where we're going to see this final result. We can let this play. Nigel Bradham, he's going to help force Russell Wilson off his spot a little bit. He sees the opposing color. Malcolm Jenkins loops around. He gets the sack. Very nice disguise there from the veteran safety, from the Eagles coaching staff. Really nice front there from Jim Schwartz, Philip Daniels, and that whole defensive staff. So the Eagles come away with the sack, and obviously a tough way to go out and end the season. The Eagles had done a lot to claw their way back to the top of the NFC East over the last month and change. Come up just short here, 17-9 against the Seattle Seahawks, losing Carson Wentz early in the game. Obviously, very, very tough. Situational football, not kind to the Eagles in this game. Third down in the red zone had been such strengths for this football team offensively when Carson Wentz was in the game. He went out. They went 0 in the red zone, did not score a touchdown, and really struggled on third down. Didn't turn the football over, but really struggled in key spots in the game, unable to turn field goals into touchdowns. So that'll do it for the All-22 review driven by AAA here this season for 2019. We will see you next week, week 1 of 2020.